Before the people had fire, the nights were long and cold. The wind would cut through the grass huts, and the wild beasts crept closer in the dark. Food was eaten raw, light was a flicker of moon or stars, and fear lived in every shadow. Fire belonged only to the lightning bird. The lightning bird lived high in the mountains where storms were born. She nested in thunderclouds and struck the earth with her talons, leaving behind flashes and smoke. But never flame the people could hold. The animals called a council. They needed fire, so the lion roared that he would take it. The leopard boasted he could sneak in and steal it. The owl offered to fly by night. But one by one, they failed, scorched, blinded, turned back by wind and storm. And then the frog stepped forward. He was small, green, wet. The other animals laughed, but Frog bowed low and said, "Let me try." He crept up the mountain while the storm slept, quiet as moss, still as stone. The lightning bird stirred but did not wake, and there, beneath her wing, glowed a single ember, red and pulsing like a heartbeat. Frog scooped it into his mouth. By the time the lightning bird awoke, the ember was gone, and Frog was already bounding down the mountain, his belly glowing from within. He brought fire to the people. They fed it dry sticks, learned to cook to warm their homes, to chase off the beasts that hunted in the dark. But ever since that day, the frog's voice has sounded rough and cracked, because he carried fire in his throat, and he's never forgotten the heat. Life as a glass frog starts as an egg on a leaf in a rainforest in Central America or Colombia. The frogs are arboreal and live mainly in trees with branches stretching over rivers. The main caregiver is the male, who lives on the leaves and calls out for mates, who then leave as soon as their eggs are laid. The male is left to care for the eggs and will often attract several mates, giving him multiple clutches of eggs to watch over. When the eggs hatch, the tadpoles must leap into the water, hoping to avoid predators like frog flies. Tadpoles feed on leaf litter and streamside detritus until they undergo metamorphosis to become froglets. As they grow older, they eventually develop into adult glass frogs, reaching between 1 and 3 inches in length. There are quite a few species of glass frogs, around 160 are known. Most are green, and some have spots on their backs. The abdominal skin of some species is transparent or translucent, which is where the name glass frog comes from. When active, their blood is visible. But when sleeping, most of their blood is concealed in the liver, helping to hide them. These frogs have the ability to concentrate red blood cells inside their livers, increasing transparency when they are vulnerable. This is also a very effective form of camouflage. When stretched out, their outline becomes slightly blurry, making them harder for predators to detect. Studies show that these frogs are less likely to be spotted by hunting birds due to this translucent effect, which helps them blend into the leaves. While this would cause massive clotting in most animals, glass frogs can regulate the location, density and packing of red blood cells without clotting. Their transparent skin allows an external view of their internal organs, making processes like the beating heart and pumping blood visible to observers. They live only in South American rainforests and are threatened by climate change and habitat fragmentation, like many other rainforest species. The desert rain frog, also known as the web-footed rain frog or Bullinger's short-headed frog, is a species in the family Brevicipedidae. This grumpy-looking little amphibian is famous for its adorably angry expression and its high-pitched squeak that sounds more like a squeaky toy than a frog. It's found only in a narrow stretch of southern African desert, making it both charming and rare. It's a tiny creature measuring just over 1 to almost 3 inches in length, with a lifespan of anywhere from 4 to 14 years. Unlike most frogs, it skips the tadpole stage entirely, hatching directly into a fully formed, though miniature, frog. With its stout body and short legs, it can't hop or leap, so it shuffles awkwardly across the sand instead. Despite its arid surroundings, the desert rain frog doesn't rely on standing water. Oddly enough, it never evolved any special adaptation to prevent water loss, but compensates by burrowing into moist sand and absorbing water through its skin, like many other amphibians. Its entire range is limited to a foggy coastal strip, only about 6 miles wide, along the edge of the Namib Desert. Though the region is dry, frequent ocean fog brings vital moisture, allowing for scattered xerophytic plants and even seasonal wildflower blooms that briefly transform the dunes each spring. The frog's most iconic trait is its signature squeak. It uses this sound both defensively, letting out a sharp, panicked squeak when threatened, and during mating season from June to October. The mating call is more rhythmic and sustained, while the threat squeak is short and abrupt. Desert rain frogs are terrestrial breeders, laying their eggs in moist underground burrows rather than in water. One adult, typically the male, stays near the nest to guard the eggs. During the day, the frogs remain hidden in burrows dug 4 to 8 inches deep, emerging at night, whether it's foggy or clear, to forage on the surface. Though calm and even docile when handled by researchers, they're thought to be territorial, especially toward others of their kind. Each frog seems to prefer guarding its own little patch of sand. Skunk frogs, or aromabates, are a small and often overlooked group of frogs found in the cloud forests of the Andes, mainly in Venezuela and Colombia. There are around 18 known species, though sadly several of them may already be extinct. Their name comes from the Latin word aroma, meaning sweet odour, which is ironic. These frogs are known for their noxious, skunk-like scent used to deter predators, even though it's non-toxic. They're small to medium in size, with the tiniest ones just over 1 inch long and the largest growing to nearly 3 inches. These frogs are usually well camouflaged, with cryptic colours that help them blend into the damp leaf litter of the forest floor. Many of them live at high altitudes, over 2 miles above sea level, in cool, humid environments filled with moss, ferns and mist. Most aromabate species are terrestrial breeders. Eggs are laid on land, often hidden in moist soil or under leaves. What makes them really special is that it's usually the male who takes care of the eggs. He stays behind after the female lays them, guarding the clutch until they hatch. Once that happens, he carries the tiny tadpoles on his back to a nearby stream where they can finish growing. This kind of parental care is rare in frogs, and it's one of the things that makes this genus so fascinating. While many species live near streams, a few have adapted in unique ways. One standout is Aromabates nocturnus, a fully aquatic and nocturnal species that lives in cold mountain streams. It's also one of the few that may now be critically endangered or possibly extinct, with no confirmed sightings in decades. Long ago, in a quiet rainforest tucked beneath the clouds, the animals whispered of a creature who could speak to the moon. Each night, when the forest glowed silver and the leaves shimmered with dew, a little frog with glassy skin would climb to the top of a wide fern and sing a soft, rhythmic song. The other creatures said the frog's heart was made of moonlight and that his voice carried messages to the sky. One night, the moon, curious about the frog's nightly melodies, drifted lower and asked, "Why do you call to me every night?" The frog answered, "I sing for the eggs below. The world is dangerous. I ask you to guard them with your light." Touched by his care, the moon promised to watch over the forest floor. From that night on, the clouds parted each evening to let moonlight bathe the leaves, giving the frog just enough time to check on his clutch, whisper to his unborn tadpoles, and hum his soft song to the sky. They say that to this day, when you hear frogs singing beneath a full moon, it's because they are still sending messages, pleas for protection, for water, for time. And the moon, remembering its promise, still listens.